Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Skills to be first. Active. A few years ago, I met with former fellow internships. As students, we worked in the same department. Then we were hired full-time. I left the company after a few months. And my colleagues stayed there to work. We haven't seen each other a few years, so at the meeting, remembered good old times. They talked about their families. They asked who did what. The first colleague said that he worked in that company for another year after I left, and then also quit. He said a lot. He worked and did not feel the approval of his superiors. Every time when he started conversations about a pay rise, in response, I heard only excuses. Therefore, I decided to upgrade my skills and find a new job. Now he even glad that he didn't get a pay raise, otherwise he wouldn't have left that position and wouldn't have found a cool and well-paid job. Then came turn. Second colleague. He also complained about management and salary, but still continued to work in that company. He said that since then especially, nothing has changed. The management still does not appreciate employees and does not want to raise wages. He got a small raise, but it did not suit him. A colleague blamed the corporate culture, management, bad work environment. He seemed to be dissatisfied with everything. Analyzing the conversation, we see that both colleagues were driven by the same reasons. However, the first continued to move forward, while the second simply complained. And he sat there. The author says that there is two types of people are reactive and productive. The second colleague is a vivid example of a reactive person. Such people tend to focus on things that are beyond their control. They always complain about the economy and inflation, guidance, low labor payment. So they justify the fact that they did not succeed. Everyone is to blame for this, except for them. About active people. Vice versa. Don't waste your energy on things you can't change. They understand that they cannot influence circumstances, but they can change themselves. So everyone is directed efforts for what can be changed. So, we have analyzed the first skill about activity. Second habit. Don't forget the end goal. Imagine that you are attending a funeral. Imagine a sad face. Friends, heartbroken parents. The brother can barely stand. You share this pain, but as you approach the coffin, do you see that you are inside it? Yes, this is your funeral. You hear everything your people say. Relatives, friends, and colleagues? What would you like to hear? In this moment? How are you remembered? Think about what you can change right now. What kind of friend do you want to be? How do you want to look in the eyes of subordinates? How does your spouse or your children see you? What would you like to achieve? How would you like influence the lives of others? Second skill. Allows. Recognize your clear purpose. It helps track the progress of an achievement. Global goals and objectives. If you represent your own final goal, it will be easier to say no to the things that are dragging you down. Often the way people think and act every day is the opposite. Their ultimate goal. Let's say you want to develop a new skill. Can change the field of activity, but instead of studying in the evenings, do you prefer to drink beer? Or do you want to be the best parent for your child? But when he comes up to you asking to play or talk, do you want to lie on the sofa? If you wish to create your own business, like in this, viewing will help. Pointless TV shows? If you look at your end goal and that, where are you going? Wasting energy every day. That will be amazed. How different are your actions from what you want to achieve? Perhaps you are surrounded by people who only hinder your development. Don't believe? Then let's do it. Experiment. Take a piece of paper and draw 2 columns to the left. Write down all yours goals. To the right, all the things that you do during the day. Who do you communicate with? What projects are you working on? What channels are on YouTube? See? After a week of such observations, you will notice that most routine actions do not bring you any closer to what you want to achieve. Third habit. Sets priorities. Common priorities. Family, own business. Upbringing and education of children. But, as we have already mentioned, the actions are different from the set goals. If you have been tense day on work, then give it its due. Attention to his family will not work. You just want to be left alone. They could relax and watch their favorite series. For the like cases, the author uses the matrix. Time management. She will help. Structure. Important and urgent matters. So, in the first, the square represents urgent and important matters requiring immediate action. It can be attributed here. And a project that's coming up. Deadline. The second square also presents important matters, but which are not yet. Requires urgent decision. In this column, you can include what will help you achieve a specific goal, sign up for a course, do exercises, read a book. All this can be attributed to the second square. In the third square, all are urgent, but not important things. It's all abstraction. During the day, phone calls, correspondence, unscheduled meetings. And finally the fourth square is presented. All non-urgent and non-important matters. Recreation and entertainment. Ideally, you need to complete things in order. First, urgent matters from the first quadrant, then pay attention to tasks from the second. Then go to a distraction from the third and reward yourself with an enjoyable pastime from the fourth square. That is the mistake of many. What do they perceive third square like the first one? Thinking that these are priorities. Although in fact they are only distraction. Highly effective people focus primarily on second square. This is a direct way to achieve the goal. The fourth skill is mutual benefit. The author gives an example of a case. Communication with the president of the company, who ran into a common problem. His employees didn't get along with each other, couldn't work in a team, provoked conflicts. They took a defensive position. In general, productivity left much to be desired. The leader turned to Stephen Covey with the request: help mend shattered relationships within the team. Stephen immediately asked what reward awaits workers who refuse to cooperate. To what did the president respond? But we do not have such an award. We reward you only those who are able to excel. For the best employees, we offer a trip to Bermuda Islands. Hey, guys. Who wants to vacation in Bermuda? He said enthusiastically. Director. But the leader did not understand that such a reward system only worked against him. She encourages the team to compete. They work with each other. The tense atmosphere was only logical. A continuation of the wrong management paradigm, as a result of which, alone, they won, while others were the losers. Therefore, a different approach was needed, and namely a paradigm. Mutual benefits allows the team collaborate, not compete. Under such a system, success is achieved by collective effort, not at the expense of other people. They are no longer rivals. There is no losers. Let's say you do too. You run a YouTube channel and do book reviews. I am reviewing yours. I want to share the content with my underground workers, so I will recommend the channel to my viewers. And now you get a few 1,000 new subscribers. Now you go to my channel and decide to mention it in your videos. As a result, we both remain in the black. Our channels have new subscribers. It also benefits the audience. They will receive double dose of useful content. And it was possible. Act differently. I could write negative comments in the hope that I will be able to lure subscribers to my channel. What would it lead to? Fifth habit. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Imagine if you had vision problems and you went to ophthalmologist, tell him about your symptoms. And he just gives you what kind of points and sends home. The glasses do not help, and you return to the doctor. To which he replies, how does it not help? It cannot be. Try again. You give the points another chance, but to no avail. Vision is blurred. You decide again. Go to an appointment? This time the doctor says it's not so easy with you. Think positive and everything will work out. They would go to such an ophthalmologist. Personally me. It would be immediately alarming that even a doctor didn't make a diagnosis. The same thing happens during communication. We often label people without understanding their situation. Understanding is the way to solve the problem. But in order to understand, you need to be able to show sympathy and listen to the interlocutor. That's why it's so hard to interpret emotions. Man by correspondence? Experts say that words convey only 10% of emotions. 30%, he reports. Votes and 60%. Emotions are communicated through body language. So whenever you want, really understand the person. Listen to him with your heart. Pay attention not only to his speech. Watch your emotions. This will help improve relationships with your friends, colleagues, or boss around you. The sixth skill is synergy. When a flock of birds, it flies long distances. It flies like a wedge. Scientists have done. The conclusion is that this form allows you to improve the streamlined in the air. Accordingly, it is easier for birds to fly. During the flight, they synchronize the movement of the wings and align position. This is one of the clearest examples. Synergies among animals. Successful people create synergy through cooperation. They realize they can't excel at everything and are drawn to other people's skills. If you, for example, needed the animation that you now see on the screen, then you could learn how to make it yourself. Spending a lot of time on this to create synergy. You can contact me and the team will do. It's much faster. It will be a win-win deal built on synergy. Another example of synergy from real life. Steve Jobs' collaboration. And Steve arose. Wozniak was a great engineer, and Jobs was a skilled salesman. Their efforts led to the creation of a new product. If they hadn't worked together, the world would never have known about Apple Corporation. We are all different with unique abilities and experiences. We all perceive the world differently, but the combination of talents creates something grandiose. This is the power of synergy. The seventh skill is to sharpen the saw. One day a man. He was diligently sawing a tree in his garden when a neighbor approached. To him he said, "And your neighbor drank. But let's sing." "But what?" and what the man answered me once. Funny, isn't it? But most of us are no better than that. Whoa, lumberjacks. We want to be healthy, but we don't want to select 30 minutes a day for exercise. We want to get smarter, but we can't pick up the book. We want big and a happy family. We don't spend time with our families. We want to be focused and relaxed, but we cannot set aside 10 minutes a day for meditation. We want with joy. Start working a week, but we deprive ourselves of rest on the weekend. I, too, for a long time forgot, undermines my singing, worked hard all week. And then another plus. Weekend work. As a result, my saw pretty much interceded. At first I thought that a workaholic was an indicator. Productivity that will lead me to success. No matter how. I was completely shattered. He constantly made mistakes, and the worst thing was that he started to get sick all the time. I thought it was work. The weekend will give me 2 free days on week. But I began to get sick or tired so often that I just lay in bed exhausted. The workaholic does not lead. No good. I had to learn about my sad experience. Now I understand that a good rest. It is extremely important for productive work. And you have to plan for the weekend. Just like we plan workdays, there are constant hustle and bustle and a lot of tasks. Brings our body to the limit. The saw can no longer saw. Soon the body will stop. And he will say, you know that I'm tired of running, if you're on. If you don't give me a good rest, then I'll arrange for a bad one. This happened to my friend. He worked in the office and, without taking his head off, worked at the computer. The boss praised him. How was he the most productive employee of the company? Over time, my friend began to gain weight, and his health. It got noticeably worse. He took more and more time off. Performance has dropped. The boss suggested that he start exercising every day. To which he replied, "What are you? I don't have time for this." As a result, mine. A friend also lost his job. And health. Life is like that. Passes. In the bustle, and we don't. We make time for what really matters. Finishing the saw. You will save your precious resources and be able to achieve all your goals. And our most valuable resources are body and mind. Allocate time wisely and do not forget about the most important thing. Start living a balanced life. Thank you for watching. See a little better and get a little better every day.